front and conceding just the one try. Looking at the fixtures for today, the Western Province and Border Ladies match has been moved from the stadium to Hamilton's Rugby Club. It was going to be broadcast. Unfortunately, that's been rescinded, so we're going to have to keep an eye on the results from that match because those are two contenders for the title this season. Sharks women taking on the EP Queens. Sanlam Boland Dhas against the Bull Daisies. That's coming up next on your screens right now. And the Free State women taking on the Golden Lions. As always in women's rugby in South Africa, there have been some shifting between the sides leading into this season, and hopefully we'll see some more ladies shining. Of course, this is a World Cup year in the women's rugby. It's going to be taking place in England in August, so it's the last chance saloon for women to make their names known to the national coaches to make sure they get a spot on that plane. Looking at the table right now, you'll notice the top two sides are the sides about to take each other on here in Wellington. It's the Bulls Daisies up against the Sanlam Boland Dhas. Unbeaten sides, 2 bonus points to each of their names from their first 2 matches, 10 points apiece. One must fall today, and we'll find out who they are. One other unbeaten side in the competition so far are the Border Ladies, and they'll be taking on Western Province. Western Province, of course, the wrong logo next to their name, and they'll be smarting about that. A different flower that usually hangs above their crest, the dhas, and they will be looking to get back on track with a victory over the Border Ladies because they were the finalists last season against the Bulls Daisies in a final which ended 36 points to 17 in favor of the team in pink doing their warm-ups just behind that graphic right now, looking to make it 3 in a row. And of course, perennial powerhouses in women's rugby are Western Province. But the Bulls Daisies with a new structure have upended the game of women's rugby in South Africa and taken full control over the past 2 seasons. These two sides looking to set it right, that being the Dhas and the Border Ladies, Western Province. All 4 of those sides are to be watched out for in this season's competition. The final is taking place on the 29th of March. There's 1 round of fixtures because we're building up towards that World Cup, and there will be international rugby for the Springbok women's team as they head to Europe in April after the conclusion of this competition to start gearing up to make sure we are as competitive as possible at that Rugby World Cup. Interesting draw in the pool stages as well for the women. So a great chance to get the first ever Rugby World Cup victory in the bag, should they be able to do so out there in England. But it's taking up a fascinating shape. This, of course, no points there for the EP Queens right at the bottom of the log, along with the second to bottom. But the Bulls Daisies, with a couple of changes to their team, will be looking for victory. But let's first take a look at the Sanlam Boland Dhas. Here's the starting lineup on your screen right now. Rofa Maja, who's here from the Lions in the 7 jersey. Aseza Hele is the one to watch out for. Blomi, who wears the number 8, but today she'll be wearing number 28 or number 23. We'll see what number she comes out with on her back. 5 tries so far in this year's competition, scored all in 1 match against the Lions in the opening fixture. Felicia Jacobs in the number 9 is prolific as well, having scored 4 tries, another one of the Springboks in this Dhas squad. They've got a couple to their name, a third being Varushka Grain, who scored 2 tries thus far. Lara Schatz in the number 10 jersey is back from Hong Kong, where she was playing her rugby briefly. Teresa Reiters has the most caps with 80 in the number 13 jersey, and Samboya is just coming back from that Springbok Women's Alignment Camp, as a couple of her teammates were there as well, of course, including the likes of Jacobs and Hele. Sinalo Zikwai in the number 23 is having her debut season for the ladies of Wellington, and hasn't she just been shining and with bringing through the next generation of rugby talent. And if you watched last year's rugby, there was an incredible under-20s tournament as well, showing that the future in women's rugby is extremely bright. Looking at the replacements, there is the number 23, Sinalo Zikwai, who's having her debut season. Joining me in commentary today in Wellington is none other than Mtunzi Fudge Mabeta. Bit of a celebrity around these parts. Fudge, everybody knows your name. You looking forward to this one?
Paul Stubbs, sweltering heat, an incredible environment, beautiful conditions here at Boland Stadium, it must be said, and I absolutely can't wait for this one. We look at the Bulls Daisies, a top of the log fixture, should be a juicy one. So many Springboks on the pitch, the most so far in the Women's Premier Division this year. I cannot wait for this one. Huge matchups. That lady right there, Libby Janse van Rensburg, comes back, so can't wait for it.
The 2023 Women's Player of the Year, waiting for those next awards. There are many contenders for who's going to claim that crown. There's been a shining period of women's rugby, especially so in the green and gold jersey. In the 15s as well as the 7s, there will be a Challenger Series in the 7s, which may gain entry for the Springbok Women's 7s back into the HSBC 7 circuit. What a victory that would be should it come about. Just looking through that starting lineup as it stands, Mika Gunter is going to be a vice-captain of this team, one of the Springboks. Klingolo in the number 1 jersey, a Springbok. Anita Kolo, also a Bok, who played in the WXV2 last season. The Bulldozer, Sizopila Solonsi in the number 6, played for the Bok 15s and 7s. Unam Tose is a Springbok. Dolph is a Springbok. Chiremba, very speedy player who's in for Ayanda Malinga, who's on the bench, who happens to be a Springbok as well. Janse van Rensburg making a return, as mentioned by Fudge. Yaki Saliers kicks for the Springboks. She's played 15s and 7s. Zintle Mpupa in the centers is their captain. What a powerhouse she is. A Springbok herself. And then plenty of talent waiting on the bench as well. The coach, Hayden Groepers, has a job to do, keeping this whole squad together and heading for that three-peat. Fudge, what do you reckon the chances of the Bulls Daisies? They've started like a house on fire. Can they make it 3 in a row?
Oh, Paul Stubbs, that's what it's all about. Rivalries. And a very special year as well, it being a World Cup year for women's rugby. Down in August, all the way in London, and every single game counts. Swayster Brain will be here. A couple of the assistant coaches of the women's Springbok side will be here as well, taking notes, taking in data. And talking about data, you look at Asezaele, you mentioned Sizopila Solonsi, the Bulldozer, huge matchups. Most Springboks so far that we on the field that we've seen in the women's Premier Division, and just the management as well, the love for the game. Thomas Charles and Michelle, the manager, a fantastic family culture, a fantastic combination. The same as Hayden Groepers. He's been with the team for so long, the Bulls Daisies. He's taken them to incredible heights that the other sides need to try and catch up to. Incredible work in the professional setup of women's sport here, and Hayden Groepers has done a fantastic job. So is Thomas Charles out here in Boland. It is the pride of Boland out here, beautiful part of the country, and what an opportunity it is for all these players in a year where they'll get the exposure. Most of the games will be live streamed. Some of them are streamed on SuperSport as well. This one is Baruch Media. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to this fixture. I cannot wait. It's a top of the log, both sides unbeaten. Boland Damas trying to make Boland Stadium their fortress. And, well, they know they're up against it. The Bulls Daisies flying high. These are the two sides, only two sides in the competition who have scored points over the triple digits, that is into the hundreds. And I think it's just beautifully set up here. I cannot wait, Paul Stubbs.
For those who don't know, Mtunzi Fudge Mabeta, formerly a lock for the Bulls. So just want to ask you the question, can we count on your objectivity here today as we watch the Bulls Daisies?
No, look, of course. And, you know, for me, it's just so good to see the development, especially with the set pieces.
Pierre-Andre Dolph in the number 10 jersey gets us kicked off here in Wellington. Healthy strike on that one. In the number 10 jersey, she's played around the back line, apparently settling into that 10 jersey, and she has devastating skill, very nippy. And she appears to have been hitting the gym as well, bulking up the frame. And there she is, presenting the ball well for her number 9, Unam Tose. So impressive in the Springbok jersey last season.
Yeah, in fact, Pierre-Andre Dolph, the vice-captain as well. She's become a leader. She is Libby Janse van Rensburg in an unfamiliar position at fullback.
Yaki Salir in the number 13 jersey. Hangs out on the wing in the green and gold. Tose clears. And the Bulls Daisies are very much on the front foot. Klingolo. Look at the athleticism there for a front ranker. Dangerous runner, of course, without a couple of players today. The Bulls Daisies, as they rotate their squad, some are injured. Finding some space there and looking for the palm was Mpupa into the opposition's 22. Libby Janse van Rensburg protects. Cleared by Pierre-Andre Dolph away from Ngotlekana. Tosse looking for quick balls. Slowed down ever so slightly, but the Bulls Daisies remain charging forward. What a tackle from Anita Tom. Dolph. Gaps appearing in the back line. Danger now for the Boland Damas. Cutting right through them. Sizopila Solonsi. The Bulldozer opens the scoring.
What a way to start. My goodness, the Bulls Daisies on fire. Pretty much reaching the temperatures in this region right now. It's hot out there, but what a way to start. High tempo, backs and forwards linking up beautifully. Playing phase rugby, accurate passing, keeping the ball in the right hand, a wonderful fend. It's a mismatch. Backline players in front of the Bulldogs and Sizopila Solonsi under the posts. Immaculate all-round rugby. has the most successful conversions. Yaki Salias as well.
He's had plenty of practice. And another one goes over. The flags are raised. 7 points to 0. The Bulls Daisies lead.
Yeah, what a start. You know, the thing is so difficult for the Boland Damas to catch up there. Good front ball, rugby, fantastic feeding from Unam Tose, Behandre Dolf taking it nice and flat. And then we've got players like Zintlem Pupa running onto it. It'll always be quick ball, difficult for the defense to keep resetting. Great rugby.
Back underway. Courtesy of Boland, the bouncing ball, always a dangerous one, taken in by Chiremba. And the Daisies have secured possession. Hele just protecting that ruck, wearing the number 22 jersey. She's actually starting in the number 8. She is a force to be reckoned with. 5 tries in 1 match to make her the top try scorer for the Damas thus far. Some solid defense from the home team right now, keeping the Bulls Daisies contained, which they struggled to in those opening salvos. Tose thinking of the kick. Hele sharp to it, hunting down her Springbok teammate. Tose negotiates that well.
Yeah, I think that's what this game will come down to, won't it? So slowing it down, a call from the referee. Need to roll away a little bit quicker there, but the way the Bulls Daisies are protecting the ball, their technique in contact, the way they're able to keep recycling, even though Unam Tose was driven backwards by Hele, good awareness from the captain, the Sanlam Boland Damas captain. That technique is just really going to challenge the Boland Damas to try and, well, keep it the same standard. Otherwise, the referee will blow them.
It's great to see Dolph in the 10, in a position where she can get her hands on the ball as often as possible.
Don't close the gap.
She has some serious dancing feet, devastating. In open field as well, extremely pacey. She's got it all in her locker.
Oh!
Wonderful line out from the Bulls Daisies. Taken in and the rolling maul begins. Mika Gunter, vice captain of the team, at the back with the ball tucked under her arm.
Use it!
No forward movement for the Bulls Daisies. The Damas defending well. Schatz shoots up out the line. Here comes Mpupa. Pupa, the captain of the side, crosses the gain line. Janse van Rensburg entering in again as another playmaker. How dangerous is that for the Bulls Daisies to have those two working in tandem, Birandre Dolph and Janse van Rensburg? But they've turned over possession this time. Here comes Hele. Cesar Hele, busting the line wide open. That's what she's all about. Slow ball.
Slowing the ball down.
Jacobs could not get it away quickly and exploit those gaps that were presenting themselves on the outside.
Yeah, a little bit of the Bulls Daisies' own medicine. Penetrating run there. Asezahele, the captain, taking the game on her shoulders. She's pretty much the only player who's been able to handle the power of the Bulls Daisies runners. One of those players, Zintlem Pupa, she's had to do a lot of work on defense, and unfortunately, an unforced error, not finding touch. Vital mistakes being made by the Damas.
Oh, they can scarcely afford that, the home team. Missing out on an attacking line out, and the Bulls Daisies able to consolidate the situation. Toss away to Dolph. Dolph with the offload and contact to Chauke. Was dancing on the line of being forward. Good work from Klingolo. She's been all over the place early on here. Wonderful hands from the front rankers of the Daisies. The Damas rather making the tackles though. Schatz shoots up out of the line, maybe into an offside position. Nobody at home at the back, so the Damas have to scramble to get there. Great offload from Nomawetu under pressure, and they're working it well. The tackle of Ngotlekana could not have an impact. The Bulls Daisies come piling in, and they win themselves a penalty. Living on the edge were Boland Damas, and they paid the price.
Excellent follow-up work. Zianda Ngotlekana, number 4 lock. She's showing great level of mobility and reading of the game as well. That's what's so impressive about the Bulls Daisies. And Behandre Dolph, bit of a googly into touch, but it did find touch. The most important thing isn't much of a breeze as well, so the kicking shouldn't be too much of a struggle here.
Stay under 10 meters.
Mika Gunter feeds another perfect line out for the Bulls Daisies, and they set that rolling maul again. Can they find a path forward this time? A couple of the Boland Damas overshooting the mark there, and Gunter's forced to play from the back. No penalty advantage to be gained there. Over the ball, Lumko. Eventually cleared away was Sonamzi. Quick tap and go from Tose away to Kolo. Tose sends it. Wonderful play. Dolph working the back line. Janse van Rensburg throws the interception ball. If she can get away, there's danger. What a tackle from Dolph. No, Chibilika dragged in.
Thank you.
Oh, that was a dangerous situation there for the Boland Damas. One tackle to beat, and it was all over. But now can they hold on to possession for a couple of phases? Keisha Stierman crashes it up.
Just stay placid.
Yeah, Kibilika just able to slip away there almost from Beandre Dolph. Remember, Dolph has got so much gas, and my goodness, that's Chauke. Big hits.
Chowing defenders. Chauke, big strong run from the number 7. Now isolated on her own. Chiremba cuts back inside, brought down in an impressive tackle, pushing the lines of offside there. Coming around and getting penalized again, Sonamzi.
9.
Yeah, you've got to start behind the player's feet. If the ball is out, you can then have a go for it. So that's just off the ball work. Because she's always catching up, it's very difficult for the defense. They're so far behind the defensive line. That's what will happen. Buhle Sonamzi caught twice, offsides.
Captain. Okay, it's fine. I'll talk to her later.
Well, escaping a direct warning. Could be a lifeline for Sonamzi.
Yeah, but here it is. Fantastic interplay there again. It's Sophie Mashapa and Behandre Dolph. Great intercept. She's onto it as well, Lulu Chibilika.
No rolling maul this time for the Bulls Daisies, but look at where they are. Knocking on the door once more, and the Boland Damas have to absorb this pressure. A pressure which will continue, you have to imagine, all match long. That is the way that they play, the Bulls Daisies. Dominate the game, as they have been doing for the past 2 seasons, and looking to make it 3 in a row. Good run from Delisa, crossing that gain line effortlessly, inching their way towards the line. Hele jumps out, still makes her tackle. No penalty advantage coming for the Bulls Daisies, and they must release the Boland Damas. Here they come again, pushing for the line. Ingolo stopped short. Great effort from the Boland Damas, but how long can they hold on? Now shooting up out of the line for Mpupa. Crucial tackle coming from Felicia Jacobs. Over the line and driven back by the Boland Damas, so not held up. And now they'll try for the corner. Big, strong defense needed. The ball is down from Chauke.
Oh, immense courage. I'm on my way to...
Captain. Right, so I just want to explain. So there's 2 penalties here for player infringement. The breakdown, yes, the ball's available, but she was never on side. So just make sure through the gate, then she can play the ball, okay?
Even if it's out there?
Yeah, but she was never on side. She didn't start from the gate.
I'm not going to argue, okay, miss.
No, I'm just saying because it's not twice.
Okay.
Courageous defense by the Boland Damas, but
Time back on.
it's just too much pressure. Slowly turning the screws. Every single player on the same page. They're building the phases. No white line fever, placing the ball even if it's a millimeter short, understanding and trusting the process that if we get it through the hands, all we want is a one-on-one, and then we'll get the try. And again, just beautiful rugby from the Bulls Daisies. What an incredible 10 minutes of high quality.
What a start it's been. Here is Yaki Saliers. Watch this technique. Bang. Oh, she gets a straight strike on that ball. Unfortunately, no bend on it. Stayed straight and true, unsuccessful with the conversion. 12 points to 0, the Bulls lead.
Yeah, building the phases. Good to be a little bit wider to create that one-on-one. Chauke, and great fight to put the ball down as well. Bulls Daisies on fire.
What are you thinking of Dolph in the number 10 for the Bulls Daisies?
Loving it. You know, I think the substitutions, the rotations, some of the experimental decisions Hayden Groepies is making, he's getting the reward. Behandre Dolph really enjoying being closer to the ball. I think for Libby Janse van Rensburg at fullback, it just gives her something extra to maybe bring a different element into her game. Guess who's playing fly-off for the Bulls today? Against the Stormers.
For the border.
for
the Bulls.
Yeah, the
Oh,
big
of
one at
course.
2 p.m. at Greenpoint
Of
Stadium.
course, Billy LaRue, yes.
There
Oh,
it
my
is.
goodness.
So
No, you're
clearly
welcome. Thank
the
you.
Bulls doing some things across the men's and women's game.
Yeah, making my head spin between the women's and men's rugby. Big game coming this afternoon. North-South derby going down at the Cape Town Stadium. As there's a scrum to the Boland Damas in an advantageous position. Why don't you just give us a quick prediction for that big one between the Bulls and the Stormers?
Oh, baby blow. Look, the Bulls Daisies, I think, are really raising the bar. The men have got a lot to keep up to here. Incredible rugby in that first
Ladies, listen.
10 minutes. I mean, we're pretty much seeing the first scrum only now.
Sorry, time's off.
Seeing the first scrum and somebody missing for the Bulls Daisies. Sanele Siwe Charlie, what a season she had for the Springbok women last year. We've got plenty of talent in the front row for the Springbok women. And the Springbok women's game is very much based on power, so it's important to have that. And not only for the Bulls, of course, Boland Damas have some serious operators up front today as well.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's the big matchup here. You know, it's power versus power. And they've also got a lot of flair in the back line, both these sides. Some incredible matchups.
If she needs to go off, they will send her. Okay. Captain, are you going to continue?
Yes, of course.
Okay, good. Right, she's continuing.
That's it. I was going to say it myself, you know. That's the captain, Aseza loves the game. I mean, she's born to play this game. Like so many other women on the pitch. As mentioned, so many Springboks here. This must be
There's free calls, free actions.
most intriguing
Stability
of
each
games.
call. I want to see 6 shoulders and stay square. Is that clear? And hook the ball. Remember, you got to throw. Crouch. Keep it steady. Bind. Get in 8. Set.
Massive opportunity for the home side as it's fed in by Felicia Jacobs. It comes squirting out of the side of the scrum, and Jacobs takes a big hit as the Bulls Daisies pounce on possession there. Tremendous work from Tsako Chauke, who is extremely physical.
Yeah, that's what you're going to get. Those cornrows, watch out. Tsako Chauke, she's just a thoroughbred loose forward. And Felicia Jacobs did really well to use the touchline as an extra defender, getting Vice Captain Dolph out. Got a good possession here.
Stay out.
Steerman sends it over the top. No contest, so no call for the throw not being straight. Chauke again using her power, getting her hands through the tackle, and Sophie Mashapa goes to ground for the Bulls Daisies. Dolph looking to spread the ball, looking to catch the ball, and Damas defense unaware. Libby Janssen van Rensburg forced to use her power.
It's fine, she's out.
She's got it all in her locker, Libby Janssen van Rensburg, and the kick over the top from Unam Torse is a very clever one being chased down by Yaki Salir. Real trouble here for the Boland Damas, isolated and on her own. What a play from Samboya, occupying two Bulls Daisies defenders, but still the Boland Damas under pressure as the Bulls Daisies come blasting over the top into touch. What a play.
Yeah, I was about to say, just watch how Libby Janssen van Rensburg joins the Bulls Daisies backline, causing an immediate overlap, forcing the right winger and fullback Samboya to think twice about being so deep. What does Unam Torse do? Identify the space, kick it forward. Yaki Silia's fantastic kick chase. Now they've got possession 5 meters from the line.
Gunter feeds the line out. Another wonderful line out from the Springbok women's hooker. And the switch play to Deliza. Deliza!
Hold up.
Oh, what an effort to hold that up.
Hold up.
Incredible switch play with Deliza when trundling for the corner.
Can you get a short arm because it's the 3rd time they're doing it. They're
No.
not behind the line. They're inside
Okay,
the
okay.
line.
I will be sharp on that. I will stand at the back.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Captain. I will see that. I'll stand there.
That's clever, and
There's a goal line dropout.
I'm
So
enjoying.
Wellington must cross the 5-meter line. No direct.
Yeah,
Drop.
the referee speaking
stand
nicely
everyone.
to the players, and that's a great understanding of the game as well. Asez Ayele saying that they can't take it over the line. So basically, in crouching on the 5 meters, you have to stay before
gotta be behind
until the
her.
ball has been thrown in. So a goal line dropout for being held up there. And what a move it was. Deliza coming around the corner, but it was Keisha Steerman who stopped her.
The goal line dropout executed by the fly-off for the Boland Damas. Shats, but it's been knocked on by Hele, of all people, leader of this team, who's just had a chat with referee Angie Bezuidenhout,
Yes, right.
who's handling this match with aplomb. And it has been a frantic pace to begin with from both of these sides in what are steamy conditions here in the Boland. The sun is shining, and there is no Cape Doctor to blow the heat away.
I want to see 6 Big shoulders.
Bulls Daisies allow it to bounce. Asezayele just can't get the good read. Needed to close her arms there, close the basket a bit earlier. Bulls Daisies, another opportunity to score points.
Sit. Stay 9.
Big strong scrum coming from the home team, played away by Mashapa and the number 8. Of course, a position that Solonsi can and has taken up in the past for this team and the Bucks. Another wonderful play from Chalke. She is absolutely everywhere on this field, shining. Lingolo. Another Springbok takes it forward for the Bulls Daisies. Tose, away to Dolph, sends it to Mpupa. Mpupa knows she can cut the line herself, takes a couple of defenders with her. And the Boland Damas are under pressure again, completely isolated here as Chiremba has to run it into 3 or 4 Boland Damas defenders. Keeps the ball protected. Torses sends one over the top of a number of players, and Gunter has to get back and fetch this one. Great tackle that from Sonamzi, and they've lost ground galore. Another errant ball, and just very well cleaned up in the end from Patience Mokone. Last year's Bulls Daisies Player of the Year, and the possession has been turned over. That's the kind of defensive play needed by Boland.
Yep, that's exactly it. That can change the momentum. And they need to celebrate that as well, especially because all of a sudden the captain, Asezayele of the Sanlam Boland Damas, is getting a little bit of assistance from her loose trio partners there, Buhle Sonamzi and Madja. Sonamzi made that hit on Mika Gunter.
Crouch.
Need to really make this one count now, the Boland Damas.
The untidy ball at the back of the scrum last time saw Felicia Jacobs take a massive hit. This time, Hela's looking to deliver the hits. Hela breaks a couple of tackles, and here she comes. Aseza Hela takes on another, and they're down. Hela's looking for the corner, but Janse van Rensburg's got her wrapped up. The inside ball keeps the movement alive. Wonderful hands to Chibilika, and they're about 7 meters out. Hands on the ball. The turnover's good. Oh, the turnover's great. And the Bulls Daisies rescue the situation, surely offsides.
Not you. The player that was at the pillar prevented it from playing. Took off his way.
Man, Paul Stubbs. What a game. Exactly what the Sanlam Boland Damas needed. I mean, my goodness. Yep, scored 5 tries in their first game. You can see why. Just a difficult person to stop with ball in hand. And what a steal that was from Sizopila Solonsi.
Number 10.
Great battle at scrum time. That's what we're seeing here. And just pumping the legs, high knees. Strong, ball in 2 hands, shifts direction. She's got everything well balanced. Libby Janse van Rensburg, that's a try-saving tackle. Wonderful offload. That's Sonamzian support. Brilliant offload again to Kibilika. And that steal for me from Solonsi. Top shelf.
Saving the situation. Hele down, getting treatment.
It's 18 minutes.
For the second time today. Always a troubling sign. I mean, we don't need to tell you that's the star of the show.
Yeah, it's only 18
Hele,
minutes.
she is on another level.
She sure is. I mean, you speak of Zintle Mpupa as well, Yaki Salias, Libby Janse van Rensburg on the pitch. I mean, pretty much we're seeing about, 70 to 80% of the cream of the crop of Springbok women's rugby. And, well, what a joy it is. The quality speaks for itself on the pitch. You speak about some of the players also being able to play in other positions. The Bulldozer, Sizopila Solons, we've seen her mostly at number 8. Usually it's Lusanda Dumke, the captain, who's at number 6. She's missing, but, you know, you put on the jersey, you understand the role, and you're able to play that role. It's just such selflessness and such a team sort of mindset from the Bulls Daisies, which makes me feel like it's extremely professional. Congratulations to the entire management team, Hayden Groepies, the Bulls Daisies, and we're seeing them really start to flaunt their depth as well.
Of course, the reason that the Bulls Daisies have risen to the top of the game is that they've professionalized their setup, almost jumping the gun on the rest of the teams in South Africa and offering a bright future to so many of the women that have chosen to sign up with them. And eventually, the rest of the teams are going to catch up, and it's only going to be for the embedment of the women's game in this country to have everybody on contract, getting paid, knowing what's coming next year.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, they'll tell you, that's why you've got relegations and you've got teams being promoted. For one reason, you get to be exposed to that professional setup, to the skills, and you get to rate yourself there. You pick up certain things. I mean, this game, for instance, with Sanlam Boland Damas here, they've got a sponsor on board. They're right behind the Bulls, and it's the only side that hasn't been beaten by over 50 points in the Women's Premier Division. That speaks, you know, for itself. So it's fantastic work that Thomas Charles and Michelle have been able to do here. And it's great to see that we're getting these games. And the Women's Premier Division, a competition that's so important. And slowly but surely there will be a domino effect of that intellectual property transcending into the other sides. And I mean, what a game of rugby we're seeing here. Boland Damas handling the pressure, still in the game.
You're allowed to be less than them, just not more than them.
Another brilliant line out from Gunter, feeding it into Anati Kolo,
Number 5, Black.
formerly of Border, where a number of the Bulls Daisies players once called home. Here's Mpupa on the charge, always crossing the gain line, no matter who's in front of her, much like Hele on the other side. Torse gets it away. Dolph keeps it moving to Jante van Rensburg. Some space to work with here for the Bulls Daisies, and they work it well. Chiremba on the outside. What a run from the number 11. Fearless in the contact as she's shown today. Yet another penalty to the Bulls Daisies, and Boland need to watch out.
There's your mark.
Angie Bezuidenhout has delivered one warning, and surely her patience will eventually run out. You can see her eyeing up a couple of players on the other side there.
Number 2. No. You can't walk, you have to wait. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
That's fantastic. Just stopping the number 2 from getting a favorable position to maybe take the line out quickly before the defense gets the opportunity to set. Nice little dark arts there, Mika Gunter.
See how this one goes. Oh, it's fetchable from Gunter this time, and yet another successful line out from the Bulls Daisies by hook or by crook. And Sako Chauke continues to have a great one. In fact, that was Klingolo taking it down. Here's Gunter on the wrap. Great tackle from Sonamzi, who's been making tackles galore for Boland. Head down and power forward from Yonela Klingolo.
Or feet.
Tap and go from Unam Torse. Here's real danger. She cuts right through. And those players back far enough to not bring about another penalty advantage. But how about this from Torse with the leg drive?
Right, step.
Moving well beyond that gain line. Deep in the red zone now. An errant ball from Dolph. It goes bouncing as far as Saliers, who puts it on the toe.
Yeah, number 22, play the play without the ball. Play the play without the ball. You know the law, Captain.
Cesar Hele herself identified that time as the culprit. And penalties being given up by the Boland Damas.
Yeah, look, you get certain penalties where you're like, look, you can do better.
Yes,
But
Mark.
to be honest, very difficult. Those penalties are as a result of pressure. Pressure playing good, high-quality rugby. What do I mean by that? Placing the ball, doing the small things very well, which puts pressure on the opposition to keep on sides, to be able to go for the ball well, to be able to make a tackle and then roll away. So always on the front foot, the Bulls Daisies. It will always be difficult for the Sanlam Boland Damas.
Okay, blue, set up. Black, set up.
Defense has been really good, though.
Gunter feeds the line out to that well-worn combination. Anati Kolo taking it at the pinnacle of her jump. And this time the rolling maul is moving from the Bulls Daisies. Real trouble for the Boland Damas, who reload now and stop that momentum. Gunter looking to get it going again, staying committed to the task. They are inching forward bit by bit towards the line. Gunter's in.
That's Mika Gunter for you. Specialist hooker. You know, the way she plays, the lines she runs. This is excellent work. Just hiding herself, always aware, keeping her shoulder and protecting the ball, and then attacking. Impossible for any Boland Damas there. It was, in fact, Hele would try to get in there, maybe hold her up. But Mika Gunter, because of how she's attached and where she places it, no chance to get to her. Great hooker play there. Throwing's been good as well. Just plays her role really well, Mika Gunter. Kolelwa Deliza can also play hooker. She's the tight head for the Bulls Daisies.
Yaki Salir. From the sound of the way that she strikes the ball, you know it's going to fly far. This time, flying inaccurately away. Another missed conversion. It's 17 points to 0, the Bulls lead.
It looks like they're a little bit high up at the front of that. That's just quick because of the pressure of the Sanlam Boland Damas, but the way they're able to stay low, the lock forwards, the loose trio, it allows Mika Gunter to get in and dot it down. Again, very good play from the Bulls Daisies. We've seen some good battles with the scrum. We've seen a couple of really good battles with the line out, but just the level of the Bulls Daisies, the way they're able to apply and keep the defense guessing. It's been a really good game of rugby so far after the first, 23 minutes or so. Boland Damas just being starved of the ball. They have looked pretty good, but we haven't seen much attacking rugby from them. Such is the control and accuracy of the Bulls Daisies.
It's what they do to you, the Bulls Daisies. Take all hope away as quickly as they possibly can. 17 points to 0. Now you've got to start believing that you can still get your hands on the ball, put together those phases and score some tries of your own. Well taken from the kickoff and taken into contact by Kolo. Good contest from Hele on the ground. The Boland Damas come piling in. Can they win possession back? Jacobs gets it away. Solid run that from Anita Tom across the gain line. In for the ball, Solonsi. Slowing it down, but not getting it back. Jacobs gets it away to Schatz. Good pacey play. Powered forward by Maja. Away to Schatz again. They like to play it fast and loose to the Boland Damas team. And will they just find this Bulls Daisies defense napping if they keep on moving it so quickly, or will they catch themselves out eventually, dishing in contact time after time, Samboya that time, and then a wild hack of sorts into touch. Some consolidation perhaps needed by Boland Damas to believe that they can break through the Bulls Daisies defense with their structured play.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's exactly what I was going to say, Paul Stubbs. As long as Aseza Hele, the captain for the Sanlam Boland Damas, is in the mood, it was her who turned that ball over from the restart. The Sanlam Boland Damas have still got a chance in this game.
Gunter to feed, changing up the combination this time, and Gotlekana taking it at the 2-ball. And here comes that powerful number 7, Chauke. The offload and contact quality as well, and Tose to clear. Their system's working perfectly here, the Bulls Daisies. And Dolph sends it long. What a kick that is from the number 10. She's got all the skills to play in the fly-off position. The counter-attack begins. Crucial tackle well executed by Mokone. Compromising possession for the Boland Damas, who keep the counter-attack alive all the same. Wonderful running from Nomawetu. Nomawetu loses control in contact. Scrum advantage to the Bulls Daisies. So much space in behind. Salias identifies that. Libby Janssen van Rensburg. She's got some steam behind her. It's coming out of her ears. Libby Janssen van Rensburg with the touch, with the pickup, with the try.
Oh, man. I think she had a knee injury. Congratulations on a fantastic rehab. Wow. Libby Janssen van Rensburg relishing the opportunity to stretch her legs and test that knee. Well, full marks, no questions asked. That's a full recovery from Libby Janssen van Rensburg. Fantastic link up with Yaki Silias, identifying space and knowing that they can get there. And I think that just summarizes how good the Bulls Daisies have been. There it is. Obviously, there's a shot clock now, so she had to take that. No one bringing the tee on for Yaki Silias, but my goodness, the Boland Damas haven't even got back behind the post, and now they need to restart. Great control, great patience, such as the quality and experience of Libby Janssen van Rensburg, SA Rugby Player of the Year in 2023. You can see why. Playing out of possession perhaps at fullback, but just looking really comfortable. That's what experience will do.
Well, never mind the Springbok Women's 15. Banyana will be looking at that. A delicate touch from Libby Janssen van Rensburg. What a player she is. The best ever point scorer in green and gold for the women.
Yeah, I won't blame the Sanlam Boland Damas. Just take your time now. Get back in, get back together. You know, a couple of really good stanzas of play from them in attack. Good offloads, keeping the ball alive really nicely. But when it matters the most, just unable to keep cool and be accurate. When losing that ball, counter-attack, Bulls Daisies all day, every day. They'll score points.
Lara Schatz sends it long. Not enough height to make it competitive. From the kickoff, Kolo takes it in as a result, and into contact goes Maria Chiremba, who's in for Malinga today, the flying Springbok winger. And with this opportunity, she is making the very most of it, really getting a lot of opportunity to run the ball and looking confident in doing so. The kick over the top, well taken in by Nomoetu, who loves the counter, as does Samboya. Saw them try to initiate it last time, and they are adept at breaking tackles. The offload in contact compromised to Chibilika. And some of these offloads are compromising the possession of Boland dhas. And another turnover comes at the breakdown. Here come the Bulls Daisies yet again. Kolo gets it away. Aggressive stuff, but Solonzi able to shrug off the attentions.
Yeah, it was number 4, Zianda Ngohlekana, with that turnover and a beautiful jackal once more.
Libby Janse van Rensburg running the line close to the ruck. Janse van Rensburg breaks the tackle. Tackled by the touchline. They're in the red zone again. She is a weapon. The number 15 for the Bulls Daisies today. Here comes Mika Gunter, attracting the defenders. Klingolo lays waste to her opposition, and the Bulls Daisies stand on the precipice. What a run from the front ranker. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is all-out rugby. Incredible offload.
Toss it, tap and go. Diliza loses control. She was over the line. All she had to do was dot down. And that Boland dhas can breathe a sigh of relief. 22 points down. We can only hope that the replay is being prepared of one of the biggest bounces we've seen in some time. The ball allowed to bounce in between Libby Janse van Rensburg and Patience Mokona. A bit of miscommunication, and she hasn't managed to keep it in field. Yeah, you can see the frustration of the experienced number 15. Not what the doctor ordered, and of course, the video session will be unkind.
Yeah, quick tap. Unamto says, here's Olelwa Diliza. Surely should score there. Look at the bravery, though. Teresa Reiters, most capped player for the Sanlam Boland dhas, showing experience, going for the ball, not for the body. Because where do you start on Diliza?
Here's Chauke taking it at line-out time now, just showing the diversity of options that they have. Libby Janse van Rensburg in perfectly again. More space to work with here for Chiremba. Chiremba beats the first. The cover defense is aggressive from the Boland dhas. And Mpulpa breaks the first tackle. She's doing some hard yards for the ladies in white and blue today. Dolph using those steps of hers, which can be so dangerous, especially when she plays in the outside backs for the Springbok women, as she so regularly does. Dolph gets it away to Ngotlekana, powering forward as Chauke. Torsa gets it away. Surely now it's try time. It is. Sizopile Solonzi is in again. Irresistible rugby from the visiting side today. Wave after wave of attack.
That's just put perfectly. And what that does, it allows overlaps. All of a sudden, there's gaps in the defense, and that's Solonzi in for a brace.
Yaki Saliers. Clean strike. It goes flying over the bar, straight in front that time, of course. A simpler kick for Saliers. She makes it good. It's 29 points to 0.
Yep. And they've scored that many tries. The points really piling up because they're keeping the ball alive, playing all-out rugby, continuous rugby, momentum rugby. The defense is quality from the Sanlam Boland dhas. Problem is the Bulls Daisies are playing some accurate rugby, probably the most accurate rugby I've seen so far in the Women's Premier Division, considering the quality of the defense. Keeping the ball alive. I don't know how many knock-ons I've seen, if any, from the Bulls Daisies. And you consider how many phases they're playing. I mean, that inside line from Libby Janse van Rensburg, we're seeing some of the top teams in the world doing that. Teams like Ireland, teams like Australia.
Australia? One of the top teams.
Okay. We'll leave it there.
Let us. British and Irish Lions tour should be fascinating this season, especially with their coach having announced he will be retiring after that. But here we are, back in Boland at the Boland Rugby Stadium here in Wellington, where the Bulls Daisies are running wild. Mpupa's going to break this tackle. It's a guarantee. Mpupa dragged down by a wonderful tackle there from Verushka Grain, her book teammate. Tosa gets it away. Klingola's on the charge. She'll be hunted down. What's an offload? Dolph looking for that last pass. They're within 5 meters of the opposition line in the blink of an eye. The ball comes loose, but it's still there. This time she's going in. Kolelwa Diliza. Tries galore from the Bulls Daisies.
One word, Paul Stubbs, professional. That's the only word to describe. Behandre Dolph had the opportunity to try and go for the offload. They've done it 80% of the time, but when it matters, holds on to it, places it unselfishly. Delisa always going to bulldoze over. Again, it's just fantastic, composed, controlled rugby. It's a full team effort here. And when you're playing that kind of rugby, not only is it irresistible, it's just so hard to stop. So Sanlam Boland Damas really, really now got a huge mountain to climb.
Yaki Saliers. Another simple effort for the Springbok kicker, who puts another 2 points on the board for the Bulls, who are dismantling their opposition as is their wont, not just this season, but for the two previous as well, as they appear to be marching towards a third knockout phase of Women's Premier Division Rugby and potentially a third title in a row. 36 points to 0 their lead.
Yeah, both these sides, remember, unbeaten. Sanlam Boland Damas have had some big positives here. In fact, they'll feel a little bit hard done by that. They don't have any points on the scoreboard. Without a doubt, the scoreboard does not tell the true story that's been happening here in this first half. They'll be desperate to get their hands on the ball, the Boland Damas.
Right, captain.
I'd like that.
No, captain.
Yeah, a little bit too desperate
Option, scrum.
at that
Scrum,
time.
ladies.
And this is a part of the game. I've been quite impressed with the Sanlam Boland Damas as well. They're scrummaging.
Sorry, her bias mate.
They've taken it to
No,
the
no,
Bulls
it's fine.
Daisies, who
It's just the captain.
have the strongest scrum so far in this year's SA Rugby Women's Premier Division. And
Only
that's
one captain.
one of the parts of the game that I'm sure sways to brain, together with the coaches as well. Thomas Charles will exciting to see just how they'll fare against the Bulls Daisies. And so far, could say they've kind of have the upper hand, I think.
Set.
Torse feeds. Clean ball at the back. Great contest at scrum time. Dolph really does get a good purchase on those kicks, and it causes those kind of situations, forcing the error from the Boland Damas from a distance with a bouncing ball, a challenging one, knowing that the opposition wants to counter-attack. You're taking that weapon away.
Yeah, so for Michaela Samboya there, when the ball is bouncing like that, coming towards you, you don't want to go towards it. You almost want to lean back and let it bounce up into you. So it just goes forwards there. It's always going to be difficult, not understanding how it's going to bounce. You're expecting a lower bounce, pops up into your chest. So better just lean back, let it bounce up. Bounces low, you can adjust. If it bounces high, you can adjust too.
Torse feeds. Here come the Boland Damas with the heel against the head. Oh, and the charge down.
Pulling out of contest.
A penalty. So sweet relief for the Damas. That would have been frustrating to have the charge down immediately after that positive play. But can they put together a couple of positive plays in a row to give themselves a chance of putting some points on the board? That's the question here. But they need to slow down, as the number 10 is suggesting, Lara Schatz, slow down and make sure that they find a way to put this Bulls defense under. Well, as Schatz has asked them to calm down, she has missed touch. Toss it with absolutely amazing hands, negotiating that one on the left. Dolph. And the counter-attack is on. Salia's going to take it to the outside. She goes doubling around. Wonderful run from the number 13. Multi-talented outside back for the Bulls Daisies. Torso away to Gunter. Look at the interplay here. Klingola back on the side and to Gunter. Gunter feeds again and the knock-on comes. Those are a couple of front rankers playing like that.
They're ballers. That's Mika Gunter for you.
Foul play?
Loves a short pass. Looking for a little 1-2 there between Yonela and Ngingolo. She's fed Kolelwa Delisa quite nicely as well. Gunter.
Blue, so your ball. Not enough advantage, we come back for the scrum. Knock on from you, they ball.
And I mean,
Unfortunately, they didn't use it, so we come back.
No problem, ladies.
that's what she says. Mika Gunter, no problem, ladies. Look at this. 1-2, Ngingolo, the loose head prop. Just needed to stay away in two minds whether she needed to clean or get the pop. If Mika Gunter's got it, expect the offload.
Stay square.
Great continuity. Very difficult to defend against that. You've got players on the ground, players running off of shoulders, always having to reset and move backwards defensively. High challenge.
Bind. Steady, keep it up. Set.
What a match we've had thus far here in Wellington. Just under 3 minutes to the halftime break, and the Boland Damas will be desperate to get themselves in the game prior to that. The kick being fielded by Chiremba. Chiremba will send it to Libby Janse van Rensburg. Ominous sign that for the Boland Dames. You don't want to see her with ball in hand. Dummy and go from Patience Mokone. And Libby Janse van Rensburg keeps it moving on the blind side. Crucial tackle, brilliantly executed. Players over the ball, looking for the turnover. That's the stuff that the Boland Dames need.
Yeah, definitely, especially just before halftime. Just allows for that positivity to stay in the game. Focus on yourself, focus on your slight wins and celebrate those wins. It's a big one that there. Opportunity to end off on a high. Remember, Lara Schatz has been kicking into the wind. It's picked up a little bit here now, directly into the face of the Sanlam Boland Dames. They will play in the second half with the wind behind their backs, but they'll have to keep ball in hand. I'm not sure the kicking game will have a significant difference.
Black set.
Well, coaches quite often saying when you're playing with the wind at your back, you want a 25-point difference.
Yeah. Sorry. Skubble.
Well,
Yeah, I know, skubble.
That one's going to burn.
What do you want?
I'm not sure there was a contest there either. So the new laws will say if there is no contest, you can throw it as skew as you want.
Line out.
As we're hearing some Kolelwa Deliza fans out there close to some mics.
Black, please don't close the gap. Just hold it. Just open up. The mark was given. Blue. Step in.
That's a surname made for rugby players, Deliza.
Don't close the gap.
Gunter to feed. Can she execute again? Yes, she can. Untidily slapped back onto the side of the Bulls Daisies by Nsako Shauke. Putting her hand up for one of the best players on the field for either side today, but there's a long list of those. Hands on the ball for the Boland Dames, and it's won back by Varushka Grain, who wastes no time in getting on the front foot, takes on a couple of defenders. Into the opposition half was surely their last chance of this half now. Working that overlap, they get it wide to Nomawetu. Nomawetu cuts back inside. Nomawetu beats another, hunted down by Chiremba. Now can they recycle the ball? This is the crucial time for the Boland Dames. Hands on the ball for the Bulls Daisies. No penalty advantage for that. Here comes Hele. Hele at first receiver.
Needed to give it. Overlaps galore on the left.
Massive numbers for the Boland Dames. Can they capitalize? Jacobs gets it away to Schatz. They need to send this one wide. Inside ball to Grain. They work it well. Wonderful offload in the contact. In over the line. They're going to score through Teresa Reiters. Never say die attitude from the Dames.
Yeah, this is it. Great hands. It was Reiters to Varushka Grain, the most experienced players in the Sanlam Boland Daisies. Lovely support line. Was desperate to get that offload. Fortunately, it goes backwards. Pops up beautifully for Teresa Reiters once more. But Varushka Grain, loop around with the arms, gets the ball going forward. They did have an overlap, and they made it work in the end. I believe it was Samboya, in fact, who dotted it down, the fullback. But, yeah, justice. Well-deserved reward for the Sanlam Boland Dames. What a way to end off a first half of high-quality rugby.
30, 30.
Laura Schatz with her first attempt at a conversion, just missing out there. Good strike on it from the Boland Dames, number 10. With a halftime break, comes around with the Bulls Daisies in full control, but the Boland Dames showing signs of life right at the end of the half, and they will have the wind at their back in the second 40. Stay tuned for that. The Bulls Daisies lead at halftime by 36 points to 5.
Guys, I got my mic is off. Is it off?
Oh, what a half of rugby we have witnessed.
Yeah,
Twinsie
so
Fudge, my
that's
beta.
one thing.
And of course, as always, the Bulls Daisies have taken control of the match, almost taking the spirit away from their opposition with an absolute flood of tries through that first 40 minutes. What have you made of it so far, especially from the Bulls Daisies side?
Yeah, for me, Bulls Daisies, I mean, Swayze de Brain must be doing somersaults. He's so happy. That's some of the best women's rugby I've seen. This is high competition. A challenging defense. I mean, who's going to tackle us? It's the best defensive side in the competition so far, the Bulls Daisies. And just look at how Hele gets rid of the players. That's Chauke right there being handed off. Libby Janse van Rensburg, what a defensive play that was. They were unfortunate not to score here. She's been really good. Lulu Kibilika, her awareness, 2 important intercepts, unable to finish though. But this is what it's been all about for me. Technique, the technicians in the Bulls Daisies, whether they're scrumming, handling the pressure coming from the Sanlam Boland Damas, whether they're finding space up behind and kick chasing. It's just been really 100 out of 100 from the Bulls Daisies in that first half. So stay with us as well. At halftime, there'll be some interviews down on the pitch, some interesting characters, find out a bit more about these fantastic teams, the two best teams, arguably, well, the Bulls Daisies definitely the best. Sanlam Boland Damas this year in number 2 should be a big one as well, with Western Province right behind them. So, yeah, I don't know, Paul Stubbs, great first half. Deliza getting that try as well in the end. It's just a wave after wave, but this for me was really amazing. Sanlam Boland getting that try.
What a try it was to close out the half. Just give an element of hope heading into that second half here on home turf. Just what they needed, just what the crowd needed as well, the fans that have come to watch these women in action in the Women's Premier Division. Between the teams that are number 1 and number 2 on the log, the Boland Damas finishing in 3rd place last year, looking to go 1 better, if not 2 better this season. But to go 2 better, that would take a massive effort, because they would have to finish above the Bulls Daisies, who look set to earn bonus points in almost, if not all, of the matches which they play. Their opening 2 matches of the season thus far, they won 90 points to 5 against Eastern Province to kick things off, just showing the rest of the competition that they have not slowed down 1 iota since last season and the season before, in which they were champions in both. As for their second match, they went against Western Province and they won 69 points to 0. So in their opening 2 matches, they have scored 159 points and conceded just 5. They are the powerhouses of women's rugby in South Africa, and that is why they have been oh so dominant over the last 2 seasons. The Boland Damas are looking to rectify things in the second half. They may have to slow it down ever so slightly when they get the opportunity to have ball in hand. When they have, they've played at a frantic pace, which sometimes has caught the Bulls Daisies defense napping just for a phase or 2. But the recovery defense, the scramble defense, and the cover defense from the Bulls Daisies has been enough to disrupt the possession of the Boland Damas on those occasions. And as a result, they've turned over possession at the crucial times, sometimes initiating their own counterattacks, which have resulted in tries. That being said, if you allow the Bulls Daisies defense to set, things may get even more difficult for you. So understandable the tactics which are being employed by the Sanlam Boland Damas, who come into this match on the back of a victory over the Lions by 57 points to 20. So you can see just how far ahead of the pack these 2 sides are. Of course, there is one other unbeaten side, and that is the Border women's team, who are playing in Cape Town already. In fact, the game would have kicked off about half an hour, if not an hour before this one, playing at the oldest rugby club in South Africa, the famous Hamilton's Rugby Club, just on the doorstep of the Cape Town Stadium. We're about to go downstairs where Mtunzi Fudge Mabeta has an interview for us.
So I'm with the Sanlam Boland Damas manager. You've been with them for almost 5 years now, maybe more than that, and incredible work as well. Mrs. Michelle Bosch, I'll say Auntie Michelle because it's a family over here. What a first half result, and maybe the scoreboard not going your way, but what does it take for a women's rugby side playing in the SA Rugby Women's Premiership? What does it take in terms of the admin and the management, especially in a day and age where we're transitioning into the professional game for women's sport in South Africa?
Firstly, thank you. It's tough. Women's rugby is not really recognised all over. What we've been trying to do from our side, as the Sanlam Boland Dames, is to bring more awareness. Specifically in our town, we live in Hermanus, so our high performance house is there, and basically, we've got 17 players that lives there. They study. They've got, physio on the one side, doctor on the one side, gym up the road. So logistically, we've managed to overbridge what's always been a problem, I think, in every union, not just ours, where, the transport, getting the players where they work to come after work, some of them being parents. But from an admin point of view, my shares in Clearall has risen since I started rugby. It's a case where, I put the hair dye with the bread and milk on the shopping list. But what a pleasure. I mean, these are our daughters. These players on the field, the ones sitting on the bench, they are daughters. And I think that makes every little, effort that we basically put into them, it's worth it because this is our family. So from my side, whatever goes on behind the scenes, shares and clear all risen, it's still worth every little bit we put in.
Fantastic. I mean, you can see it, can't you? The effort, even though the result's not going your way and you believe it's not your fault, but the effort, you mentioned it. You said these are your daughters. These aren't just players. There's Sanlam coming in as a sponsor, players getting the opportunity to study. I think you said there's 15 players studying and to further their career. Challenging, but also up for the challenge, committed to it. How do you get that going? I know yourself and Thomas Charles really doing great work here in the Boland region.
Well, we try. I think, when I started with the rugby, I was an unofficial photographer that used to travel with the team. I got to know the players and, the challenges that they have, where they come from. And, the first thing that actually stood out to me was basically, you put your body on the line every Saturday. What have you got? And the studies was actually, the next transition phase for us to get them into this program with the sponsors and everything that came on board. We abundantly blessed because now it's a reality.
Michelle Bosch, committed to changing lives, and that's exactly what's happening here in Wellington in the Boland region. You can see it on the pitch. You can see the attitude of the players. Thank you so much for your service to the region, for your service to women's sport, especially rugby in this region. Thank you so much, Auntie Michelle. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Cool. Perfect. Lekker. Thank you, man. So afterwards, we're going to do the sway. Hey, look at that. No, you did.
Here at the Boland Stadium in Wellington, much like the weather, the rugby is cooking in the Women's Premier Division. And the Bulls Daisies, the reigning defending champions of this division, are leading by 36 points to 5. But the wind will be at the back of the home team here in the second half. I'm here with Mthunzi Fajmabeta, who is down on the touchline, speaking to the manager of the Boland Damas. Interesting conversation there. But let's focus on the rugby for the time being. Do you think there's any hope living in the hearts of those players wearing black jerseys here in the second 40 minutes?
Yeah, what a first half, first of all, Paul Stubbs. Incredible scenes out here at Boland Stadium in Wellington. Quite hot, the weather, but what a performance by the Bulls Daisies forwards. I just had a word now with Bongiwe Nhleko, former head coach of UJ. She's just been pulled in by the Bulls Daisies, and what a difference she's made. The way they're able to offload, I think their technique and understanding of the laws allows them to get into fourth, fifth phase rugby, and then the backs are enjoying it.
Let me know if you're ready.
Sanlam Boland Damas, they're trying to keep up with play, but they just need to hold on to the ball, build phases a little bit more often, and try to stop that last phase mistake. Big second half coming up.
Round 3 of the Women's Premier Division here in South Africa is underway. The second half coming to you from Wellington. A number of other interesting fixtures taking place all around the country. We'll keep you up to date with the scorelines of those in just a little while. But right now the Bulls Daisies have ball in hand again, looking to initiate the attack. Dolph goes long with the kick, doesn't fear kicking into that wind, and great purchase. What a step from Michaela Samboya. Dangerous runner for the Boland Damas. Ball protected on the ground. Running out of numbers to the right, they turn to the boot. Not a very productive kick. Libby Janssen van Rensburg waiting underneath that one, looking to unleash the counter-attack from the Bulls Daisies. Here's Saliers. Her kick is going to fly out on the full.
Now you know how it feels.
Yeah.
That's what Schatz will be saying, especially the Sanlam Boland Damas fly off. She had to kick into the wind, had a couple of mistakes like that.
Set up on the mark. Please don't close the gap. Respect the mark. Respect the gap.
Just like referee Bezuidenhout telling them to respect the gap, they're going to have to respect their kick lines as well. And you can see early on trying to use that breeze behind their back. 2-player line out. Don't see that often. Great steal. Kolo, every day of the week will take that one.
Dangerous tactic from the Boland Damas, and they're very lucky to have ball back in hand. Another handling error. Here's they're just outside the red zone of the Bulls Daisies, where they have rarely been today. Finding a way forward, Varushka Grain. Now they're in the opposition's 22. Can they capitalize? The crowd is rising to meet them. Reuters looking for some space. Cutting back in field. Here's Nomawetu. Nomawetu held up short of the line.
Release.
The Bulls Daisies taking a while to release, bringing about the penalty advantage. The tap and go from Jacobs. She sends it away. They continue playing it fast and loose, the Boland Damas, always taking a walk on the wild side. Away it goes to Hele. Runs into 3 defenders. They know she's the danger. Jacobs skips out her fly-off. Under pressure, Grain does well to hold up in the contact. Dolph looking for the turnover ball, the number 10. Can't retain her hands on the ball there. How about that for a hit? The Bulls Daisies moving upfield without ball in hand through hits like that from Sizopila Solonzi. Pick and go from the base comes from Anita Tom. Look at the meterage made by the big tight head prop. They set the ruck again. Forward they come with Lumko. Hela waiting at first receiver. Jacobs seeing the ball slow down phase by phase as the Bulls Daisies continue to try for the turnover. Time after time. Tom short of the line. Jacobs, they're right there on the Boland Damas. Will she go herself? No, she sends it to Schatz. Skip ball away from Hele. Grain sends it long.
Oh!
Heartbreak for the Boland Damas. It goes down just on the touchline. They were building well.
Yeah, what's impressive is how they got players in front of Lulu Kibilika here. Look at how they start shifting towards the right here. Yaki Salias runs. That releases Patience Mokone, trying to let the ball beat the player, Lulu Kibilika, which is clever to get around Patience Mokone. But did they need to be more direct? Perhaps went wide a little bit too early. It looked like there was a little bit of space to the right. But that's the best stanza of play so far in this fixture for the Sanlam Boland Damas.
Sorry?
Anita Tom, remember the name. They're looking at her for the Springbok women's side. She's been invited to a couple of the camps they've been having. And that was great from the tight head prop, Anita Tom.
Looking dangerous in those tight phases there, Anita Tom. Strong scrum from the Bulls Daisies. That battle continues. Sanlam Poopa is pure danger. Hangs out the palm. Beats the first defender. So quick she almost runs away from her supporting players. Brilliantly protected on the ground. And over the top it goes. Chasing after this one, Yaki Salir. She is rapid. And on the outside, Chiremba as well. The ball goes bouncing away. But the Bulls Daisies escape danger.
I fell 8.
Ooh. No Sanlam Boland Damas defenders back there. Kind of hangs nicely with the wind. Really picking up now. And that was a clever kick as well from Behandre Dolph. 2 players running onto it.
Oh, thank you.
And don't you just hate it when the touchline wins the race?
Blue, set up here. Black, you set up
But
here.
it looks like the Bulls Daisies are looking to run out of their own 22. They don't really have the option to kick. And Sanlam Poopa.
Mika Gunter looking to pick one up around the bootlaces. Cannot hold on, and the Boland Damas are in possession in their own half. We know they like to play fast, and that involves Jacobs getting ball quickly from the base of any ruck. The offload in context, not profitable this time. Turnover ball. And the pass from Dolph goes bouncing away from her right wing. Patience Mokone. Mokone! Showing some power and some guile as well. Dolph. Wonderful hands shown by Kolo, just moving it to the midfield. But a knock-on comes. Scrum to the Boland Damas.
It's fine, it's relaxed. Let's relax.
A little bit more difficult when you're playing into the wind, and especially it's definitely picked up here. It's almost doubled in strength, the wind that the Bulls Daisies are now playing into. So much more difficult to read the passes. Start to see a few mistakes in the second half from the Bulls Daisies, and well, the big question is, will the Sanlam Boland Damas be able to capitalize here now? Almost getting in for the first points in the second half, and that's exactly what the doctor would have ordered.
Bind. Get in 8. Sit.
Successful scrum from the Boland Damas. It has been a well-balanced contest there. The players of the Boland Damas dancing on the borderline of being offsides from that kick. Nomawetu's chasing up. Great purchase on the kick, using the wind to their advantage. Libby Janssen van Rensburg forced into a desperation kick, which puts the Boland Damas on the front foot. 31 points between the sides. They need to score early in the second half to get the Bulls Daisies thinking.
Exactly that. And you know what? I think it's all about not being too desperate to hold on to the ball, understanding the power of the wind and basically the advantage they have in the second half. And you can see clearly Thomas Scholes, the kind of tactics they're trying to apply in the second half, working nicely for the Boland Damas.
Fudge, you played lock for the Bulls, and the Boland Damas line-out so far has been nothing short of a disaster. They've put 2 players in there from time to time, almost every time, but they're just not winning possession back reliably, and they need the security of that ball.
Yeah, so the big thing about a 2-player line-out is the opposition can do exactly what you're doing. Whether you move forwards or backwards, it's almost the most easiest line-out to predict because you don't have options to bring in any disguise of movement or deception. You've got to at least bring it up to a 3-player or at least a 4-player and use space to try and beat the player on the opposition on the ground.
Huge pressure on that scrum, cleared away by Jacobs. Under pressure, Schatz gets her pass away as well. This defense of the Bulls Daisies rising and drifting well, making sure there's no gaps in the line as they drift across field and address those attacking players dressed in black. Oh, almost great hands shown by Ropa Madja, but she loses control. Scrum put into the Bulls Daisies. They defend their line well once again. Oh, this wind is making a massive difference to the structure of this match.
We are outside.
And so far, the Boland Damas have used it well.
No, they sure have, but, you know, I think the big difference here, they do look good in the wider channels, the Sanlam Boland Damas. For me, the big difference is just the continuity they're finding in the forward pack. Imagine Asa Zaele had some support or had a few players that are breaking the line with her in support. They'd be a force to be reckoned with, just not getting it right. That first phase forwards ball.
Big effort at scrum time, but no purchase gained by the Boland Damas. An errant ball sees Carmelita Malone in the 24 jersey scrambling back for the team in white and blue, and the Bulls Daisies rescue the situation, but they are feeling the heat here in the second half in more ways than one, of course, as the mercury is rising above 30 degrees here in the Boland today. Kick over the top, very well fielded by Chibilika. Another chance for a counter-attack from the Boland ladies, but they are under pressure. The drifting ball goes away from Nomawetu, has to go chasing after it, and on the wing, the battle between her and Chiremba ends up in a line out to the Boland Damas, but they've lost a lot of ground.
Yep, struggling to penetrate the Bulls Daisies defensive line, which means struggling to get go-forward ball. And when players are running across the pitch, the passes inevitably are going to be inaccurate. And, well, that's a round of applause for Anita Tom, if I'm not mistaken. Fantastic game of rugby from the tight head prop. In fact, it's Keisha Steelman played hooker for them.
Right, Boland is in.
So a few substitutes, few fresh legs. Perhaps that's what they need, Sanlam Boland Damas, just to get over that front foot.
Stolen away by the Bulls Daisies. More than 2 players in the line out this time. No difference, though. Solonsi goes charging away, and then she looks up and realizes she's got a Cesar Hele standing in front of her. And the unstoppable force meets the immovable object.
Yeah, Anati Golo with that steal, the number 5. She's just a classic number 5 lock. Great to watch.
Brilliant wing play there. Under control. Patience Makone saw the ball bouncing around in her clutches. Still had the physical ability to stay in field in spite of the pressure she was under. Lingolo knocks the ball on, and it will be a scrum put into the Boland Damas.
Well, we're just 10 minutes into the second half, and I'm already starting to see hands on hips. They must be tired. It's just been the nature of the game both these sides are playing here, especially the Bulls Daisies. Whether you're attacking, playing this kind of rugby, it will be draining for the forward pack. They do have a lovely cushion of the scoreboard. And I think the big challenge here now is on the Sanlam Boland Damas, because there will be the sapping effect of having to defend, especially go forward rugby from your opposition, taxing on the fitness and the body.
Not quite a centre field scrum, but options left and right for the Boland Damas. The fly half Schatz is standing to the right, but the penalty comes. Jacobs is going to tap and go under the instructions of her captain, Hele, who cuts the line open again. Hele with the dummy. Hele powers forward looking for support. And now it does arrive. The counter-ruck is deadly from the Bulls Daisies. Another tap and go from Jacobs. Here she comes on the front foot. The number 9 sends it wide. They've got a woman on the outside here. It's try time for sure for player Nomawetu.
It's a showcase. Player Nomawetu. And she looks the part, doesn't she? Whenever she touches the ball, give your captain support to Hele. Fortunately, it's a penalty, and you've got Felicia Jacobs there, who's keen to play. She's already got 4 tries to her name.
10 seconds, Bob.
Great pass from Jacobs out wide. Brilliant hands to Nomawetu, and then the cut in and putting the ball in the right hand, fending. Great finish. Deserved try, and, well, dare I say, the momentum has shifted a bit in the second half. Home side starting to be in the driver's seat.
Laura Schatz keeps it low, hits the post, dipping below the crossbar as well. Unsuccessful conversion attempt, but a second try for the Boland Damas takes their score from 5 points to 10. 26 points separate the sides.
Yeah, this pass here, brilliant. In these conditions, that's right in front of the player. Fantastic from Raiters, the experience, puts it in the breadbasket for player Nomawetu. It's a good tackle on her, but she's just too strong, especially the power on the legs.
Am I in your way?
Birandre Dolph puts her back into that one, gets us back underway with the wind blowing in her face. You saw the ball just holding up as it reached the end of its flight. Taken in by Ropa Madja. Schatz has a chance to kick with the wind at her back. Dolph looking to field this one. Does very well. Gets underneath the flight of it. Libby Janssen van Rensburg running on a supporting line. Wonderful hands from the Bulls Daisies and hands through the tackle from Chauke.
Fair contest.
And they have initiated their attack now. Dolph plays the blind side. She has options left and right. Plays it inside to her captain Mpupa. Player over the ball for the Boland Damas. Does not keep her feet. Must release. Away it goes to Kolo, who has been so impressive in open field and line-out time.
Yeah, the way she follows the ball to ruck, the way she's always looking for offloads because she knows she's a specialist rucker. That's number 5 rugby.
High tackle.
There was a knock-on from Libianse van Rensburg, but not before the advantage for a high tackle was called by our referee, Angie Bezuidenhout. So a penalty to the Bulls Daisies, who are in position for the first time really in this half, where much as they did to the Boland dhas in the first half, the Boland dhas are doing back to them, dominating territory and possession here in the second 40 with the wind at their back. Dolph kicks for the touchline and finds it safely.
Right, time is off.
As the time is off, quick chance to update you on the ongoings elsewhere in the Women's Premier Division. The Sharks leading Eastern Province by 40 points to 7, that in the 77th minute. Western Province and Border has concluded, and Western Province won that match 29 points to 12, putting themselves back in the hunt.
Yeah, big game, that one there. One to look forward to, and what an impressive win from Western Province to get the better of the Border ladies. Got a couple of stars. They were missing Apiwe Ngwevu today, their captain and inside center. You look at a player like Zintle Mpupa, who's been fantastic for them. Varushka Grain as well, in the inside center position here in this game. Usually a winger, but you can see why she's there. Defensively, she makes the right calls. Her experience to link up with Teresa Reiters, probably the most experienced center pairing in this year's SA Rugby Women's Premier Division. The 12 and 13 of the Sanlam Boland dhas.
Mika Gunter feeds, and for once the Boland dhas disrupt the Bulls Daisies ball at line-out time, and they go ahead and cough up a knock-on. That will be frustrating. But to disrupt that ball of the Bulls Daisies, which was the source of so much of their attacking play in the first half, must be satisfying.
Sure is. Nothing feels better than a line-out steal. Even if you're a number 7, you know, or number 8, Ropa Madja gets up in front of the jumper, taps it down. What I would say, especially if I was her coach, try and grab it with 2 hands, especially if you can. Instead of popping it down and having to take a scrum, 2 hands, you immediately get to counter-attack. And it's something that some players forget.
Right, ladies, we had no issues before, so I need stability. Work hard on stability.
Throughout the entirety of the halftime break, Angie Bezuidenhout was in consultation with her refereeing team as to the calls made in the first half. It's just that spirit of review and keeping each other honest in the refereeing fraternity, not just in South Africa, but around the world. They take their job very seriously. And there's no call, no stone that goes unturned with them during the halftime break. And of course, every time these referees take to the field, they're getting reviewed by the head honchos, if you will.
If she's not going to continue. Yes, please.
Yeah, that's the specialist lock. Anati Kolo looks to be getting a little bit of treatment, but you're right. Angie Bezuidenhout, the referee, I think she's been quite vocal. She hasn't wasted too much time. I think that's an important part of the game as well. You want the players to get a proper idea and feel for what the rest of the world is doing. A couple of players have got to experience that as well. I think some players coming back, Aseza Hele coming back from the Harlequins, which was just fantastic to bring that intellectual property here. And, you know, they play a high level of rugby out in Europe, and tempo has a big thing to do with it. So it's doing the players, and especially Suez de Brain, in terms of preparation for the World Cup in August this year. That's the Women's Rugby World Cup in London. Tempo and high tempo to try and see if the players can still think and make the right decisions under those conditions is what you want to be able to test. And so far, Angie Bezuidenhout has put together, well, the perfect laboratory for that.
In the 17th minute of this first half, the Boland dhas flex their muscle at scrum time. They've been threatening all match long, and they get the purchase this time around.
Great Maxine Valentine, fresh legs in the 16 jumper. She looked really good with the warm-up scrums and throws as well. Valentine.
Okay, let's go.
Yola Lumka and Anita Tom really starting to, now that player's a little bit tired, starting to get a good upper hand now, winning the arm wrestle at scrum time. That's the 3rd penalty they've got, 2 of them in the second half. So will that be something that gives them a little bit more momentum? 26 points down. Is a comeback possible with the wind behind your back?
We're about to find out. here in the sun-shining Wellington, in the beautiful Boland region of the Western Cape. Peeling away from the back is Sonamzi. So impressive in the first half with her defensive efforts. Can they keep the ball moving here? Big hit in the midfield from Mpupa on our opposite number, Grain. Jacobs plays it back to Schatz. No kick this time. They're going to run it from deep. Stepping dangerously is the Reuters. And the kick eventually comes from the number 9. It's going to bounce in grass, and there's plenty of players charging onto it from the Boland Damas. Forwards comes Maja. Maja has support in Jacobs. Jacobs dances away from a couple of tackles. Wonderful defensive effort from Patience Mokone, sticking to her task and making that tackle. Numbers out to the right for the Boland Damas, but are they women in motion? Mokone, or rather number 2, takes it to the line. The counter-ruck, dangerous from the Bulls Daisies, but illegal as well, as Golo is penalized. Tap and go from the Boland ladies, and they come forward once more. At the back, looking for the pick and go. Looking to trundle things forward. The Boland Damas slowed down for the time being. Not a bad thing perhaps for their attack. They can afford to take their time and pick their gaps, but they don't want to let that Bulls Daisies defense settle because they make big hits when they do. Played away with the penalty advantage by Teresa Reuters. They fire one over the top for Hele on the wraparound. Hunting the corner. It's a try for Lulu Chibilika.
That's what we're talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about. Support your captain, Aseza Hele. Lulu Chibilika. What a line this is. Aseza Hele, fantastic skills. Beautiful offload. Still had a lot of work to do. Chibilika slips through one tackle, and it's Mpupa. Yakisilias too little too late. Chibilika in the corner.
10 seconds past. Yeah, it's going to be water break now.
2 tries in this second half. I believe they've scored 3 unanswered, if I'm not mistaken, because they did score the last try of the first half as well. So definitely the tides have turned here. Sanlam Boland Damas back in it.
Well, don't be surprised if come the end of the season, this is the final. Daisies against the Damas. Tough one here for Lara Schatz.
Right.
Connection unclean. It goes wheeling away from the posts, but there are 3 tries on the board for the Boland Damas and 15 points to their name as they hunt down the 36 of the Bulls, and we head into a water break. What a turnaround in events here in the second half by a side which, as you said down on the touchlines, Mtwinzi, is a family, and we heard that they have a players' house which is there in Hermanus, not here in Wellington, where all the teams or most of the team stays together. A couple of players staying just down the road about 30-40 minutes away in Malmesbury and in a few other places, but most of the team is together in one place in Hermanus. Would you have been able to handle spending that much time with your teammates, Mtwinzi? No break, just every day together.
Well, look, out in this region, they love their rugby. Just look at the numbers that have come out here to Boland Stadium. You know, it's quite a nice hot day. There is a bit of a breeze. Middle of the day game. Still got a full day of sport up ahead of you. Some big sporting events happening here. But yeah, the Sanlam Boland Damas, that's how you make a comeback, isn't it? The word used by Auntie Michelle, I'll say that as well, was that these are my daughters. This is a family. And it has to be that way. A lot of these women have to have jobs on the side. It's very difficult to get into that professional setup, and the challenge is on. You know, the pressure is on as well because it's a World Cup year. There's been so much being put back into women's sport. They've had sponsors such as Sanlam come on board. We know what's happening at the Bulls Daisies with how professional they've been. And yeah, this is a huge effort from the Sanlam Boland Damas. And I think it's because of that family, that culture, seeing the players as your daughters, Thomas Scholes and Michelle Bosch. Just the environment they've been able to create here has been fantastic. We take a look at, well, one of the players that just got substituted now, number 5, Anati Kolo. Great performance from her. Speaking about professionalism, she understands her role. She's stealing in the line-out. She's playing as good as any number 5 in the world, men or women, you know, in terms of understanding your role. So, yeah, I think things are working here for the Sanlam Boland Damas. You can see it's paying off as well. Them having systems to build team culture, to build that family vibe. And that's why you're able to fight. Not just being tired and testing your fitness. These are not comfortable conditions to play in with the wind that's really becoming a gust now. and the, well, high temperatures the Western Cape has been having over the past couple of days.
The sun is shining in the Western Cape, and it is shining here in Wellington today in the Boland region. Just down the road from Paarl and Stellenbosch, the town of Wellington is a beautiful place to be and a beautiful place to play rugby. A beautiful run that is. Great confidence from the Boland Damas here in the second half.
Backwards.
Oh boy, Schatz under pressure. Had to juggle it twice, and she does brilliantly well to get a kick away. Number of players waiting back there. Dolph among them. Here's Libby Janssen van Rensburg, waiting for those kicks to come from the Boland Damas, cutting the line open. Patience Mokone. What a run from Mokone. She's going to double round for the corner. The cover defense is absolutely outstanding from Teresa Reiters. Body on the line from the outside center.
Just hold on. Just hold on. You have double movement? So penalty against it for rolling. So it's not a try, it's double rolling. Double rolling.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, Teresa Reiters. That's goosebumps right there, crawling off of the pitch. Talk about putting your body on the line. This is not a final, by the way, but playing like it is. Most capped player ever for the Sanlam Boland Damas, Teresa Reiters. And for her to be able to dig that deep, find that extra gear, that's what I'm talking about. Patience Mokone. When she starts going on the around that arcing line, you'd think, surely she's going in to score here. Where does she find the extra gear, the turbo, to make that tackle, to go low, put her body on the line? Teresa Reiters, that's as good a try-saver tackle as you'll ever see, especially when it's coming from the most experienced, one of the elders of the side.
Right.
That's what Sanlam Boland Damas Rugby is all about.
Right, guys, let's go.
And that's exactly what's keeping them in this game.
Just wait.
You talk about culture. Something that we're looking to build in South Africa is the culture of people coming to attend women's games, standalone women's games especially, which is what we have right here. You were downstairs. What's the crowd looking like?
Yeah, what a vibe. We've seen a few pictures. It's fantastic. The support is really good, even though we haven't seen the Sanlam Boland Damas get much still behind. You know, you wouldn't back them to win this game. But there's a lot to be able to celebrate. There's a lot to be excited about. It's a fantastic game of rugby. And, well, they're getting rewarded for coming out to support them here at Boland Stadium. Picturesque. It's almost in the center of Wellington, in a little bit of a suburb. It was a beautiful drive here as well, in the winelands. It's a stunning part of South Africa.
Just wait.
I'll put some money down on some property.
One day. One day.
It's a wonderful place, as are so many of the cities and towns in the greater Western Cape region.
Time back on.
Especially at this time of year, of course. A gentle breeze relieving the significant heat which is on offer here in Wellington today, up above 30 degrees. That kick into touch from the penalty comes from a fly-off Lara Schatz.
11 and 15 white.
Well. Here comes danger. Ayanda, the slinger-malinga, in the number 23 jersey, onto the field for the Bulls Daisies. Watch out for her. Line-out pressure for the Boland Damas. They get it right this time. Brilliantly fed into the line by Maxine Valentine. Replacement hooker for the side. That's a coach killer.
Yeah, that's a coach killer. I mean, they've handled the pressure really well from the Bulls Daisies. It's actually a really good line-out as well. I think that's the right option to try and create the maul, suck in the Bulls Daisies forwards, then look to exit. Remember, they do have the wind behind their back. So Schatz would have been deep in the pocket, but now they have to try and defend and get this because Bulls Daisies maul. I don't think the Sanlam Boland Damas have come up with any answers for it just yet.
Well, it's going to start with a feed to the line-out from Mika Gunter, who has been close to perfection in that department today. Got a try to her name as well in the back of one of those rolling mauls.
Time's off. Time off.
We have a player taking a knee just inside the touchline for the Bulls Daisies. It's Rochelle Duplessis.
Yeah, what a return. Rachekis Duplessis, she's on the pitch now as well. Had a serious injury, comeback for her, together with Dineo Ndlovu, who's replaced Anati Nkolo.
Not looking happy as she makes her way to the bench. Hopefully that's not a long-term absence from her. Just a short-term thing. That line out rescued by one of the Bulls Daisies players towards the back, and they have the chance to attack here with Malone playing at halfback. Dolph sends it to Mpupa. Mpupa makes it look easy. She
sure does. Scored a brace in round 2. This is just a well-worked More Patience, Birandre Droft. Options for Patience Mokone as well. Verushka Grain has to sort of keep a slight eye on her, and that's enough of a gap. All she needs is a slight gap. Zintle Mpupa. She accelerates and bursts through it so quickly. Half gap, uses her arm to really push through it, and she's under the post. Captain this afternoon for the Bulls Daisies. Gets one, and it's an important one as well. Sanlam, Boland, Damas are coming back.
Yucky Saliers knocks it over, no problem. Another 2 points on the board for the Bulls Daisies. Another try for the captain, Mpupa.
Yeah, it was the options for Birandre Dolph, keeping Verushka Grain sort of in no man's land, and then Mpupa with that show and go. Grain was always going to be late on her, and if there's anyone on this pitch who's got a fend, yes, Asezaele. Other one, Zintle Mpupa. It's an inside center specialist of note. And you're right, hopefully Rachel Duplessis will get better. She's been replaced by Doreen Mkabela, even though she came off of the bench. She's been struggling with injuries, and yeah, what an important player she's been for the Bulls Daisies.
The Boland Damas get us back underway with Lara Schatz. Centered long with the wind at her back. Mika Gunter has been absolutely brilliant today. Taking on a couple, brought down by Yola Lumko. Sent away by Malone. Blindside for Solonsi. Big tackle on the number 6.
Yeah, what a performance from the Sanlam Boland Damas captain, Asezaele. Most meters made by any player on the pitch. Most tackles made by any player of the pitch, Hele.
Quick tap and go. As has been their prerogative all match long for the Sanlam Boland Damas. Looking to catch this Bulls defense sleeping. And the short ball goes to Madja. Plenty of defenders in that channel, though. Schatz under pressure, sends a speculator. Great flat ball and cutting the line wide open. Sampoya's going to stretch away. Sampoya's in!
Crowd on their feet. Loving that. It was just a matter of time, you'd have to think. Sanlam Boland Damas have shown quality in the second half. It's good passing here. Schatz, lovely floated pass, but how Samboya runs onto that. Lets the ball beat the first player, runs onto it into the gap before she catches the ball, and the burst of pace. Nos, deserved try. She's been really good, Samboya. Two players really hunting down Nomawethu, that's player Nomawethu, and then through the gap like a shot, Samboya.
Chauke making the error, shooting up for the interception and missing out, creating that gap for Samboya, who showed her Springbok skill. Schatz, with the wind at her back, this time knocks it over. Another 2 points on the board for the Boland Damas, who are making a fist of it here in the second half. Looking to drag their way back into contention in this crucial match between the two top sides in the Women's Premier Division.
Yep, rush defense coming up. Hot stepper Samboya uses the ball. Great level of skill to finish.
Birandre Dolph gets us back underway. What a match it has been. Penalty to the Damas, and this time, for once, Jacobs not going for the quick tap and go. Not sure if that's because of the cramp or because of the tactics. But Schatz is going to have a chance to send it into touch.
Remember, they do have the wind. They'll probably get, well, she'll be aiming to get just over the 10-meter line, perhaps just outside the 22. And if she can get it in that area, they might look to score some points. 21 points down here, 14 minutes left. They get some points from this visit. Get a conversion. They'll be 14 points down. That's just 2 tries. The way they've been scoring this second half might not be too far from them to do that. Sanlam Boland Damas, especially with the crowd behind them now.
You called 5? Get in. You called it, you get in.
Angie Bezuidenhout keeping matters under control at line-out time, making sure the numbers are right. Valentine to feed. They hit the 2-ball, another successful one from the Damas. Such an improvement on their first half line-out performance, and it's offering them opportunities to attack the Bulls Daisies. They get the rolling maul going, finding some progress, but not a tremendous amount, so they send it to Schatz. Here's Hele. Hele, so confident in retaining her balance every time she takes it into contact. And that ball dipping at the knee, and a knock-on is called against Madja. Frustration for the home team.
Yeah, especially because it looked like there was a lazy runner there from the Bulls Daisies. And that's something that if I were the Boland Damas, I'd look out for, actually, playing it back towards the blind when Hele breaks through. Hele is going to break through 2 tackles minimum. I mean, pretty much 80% of the time she's breaking through the first 3 tackles against the best defensive side in the Women's Premier Division. So you play it back towards where the defenders are running back, might get yourself an easy penalty.
Bye. Get in 8.
Excellent scrum from the Bulls Daisies, dominating the Boland Damas, cleared away by Malone and sent to the dangerous winger, Patience Mokone, who can't stay in field.
Just check 22.
And how often are we going to mention her name? I guess we have no choice. Asaza decided to have a big game here. When does she not decide that?
Okay. Medic.
Getting treatment yet again, Hele.
Are you going to continue, Captain? Okay. Time's up, ladies.
She keeps on asking. Keeps on asking. She's never going to get a no.
She's saying, why are you still asking me, Angie? Why are you still asking me? I said, of course, earlier on.
Time is up.
As long as her body is in one piece, Hele will look to take back to the field of rugby. She loves this game, and isn't she just a brilliant exponent of it? So crucial to bring her back, as you said, from the Harlequins into this Boland Damas setup, and to keep that intellectual property, as you say, in South Africa, especially in the women's game, when we don't have that many players that have played the game at the highest level overseas.
Yeah, for sure. You talk about the highest level. That's a great understanding of your position. Show the player the outside. Convince the player to go into the outside. That's what Cesar Hele has done right now. And she uses the touchline as an extra defender. That's that experience I'm talking about. And putting it to good use here for the Boland Damas.
Also showing the experience of keeping half of her body inside the field of play to make sure that it couldn't go on before she got healed. A rolling maul set up by the Boland Damas, and this time they have some go for it. The Bulls Daisies slightly slow in getting to the point of contact. Tackle made by Solonsi. In over the ball. What a turnover from the flanker. And now the Bulls Daisies have the chance to attack from deep, taken forward by Dineo Ndlovu. Without a number of superstars today, of course, the Bulls Daisies. As many boxers they have in their squad, there are a number missing out.
I did not say.
Including the Kawe twins.
Yes, on there.
Kumisa and Kuma Kawe. Lusanda Dumke. An unbelievable level of player to be missing out on and still be leading by this many points. Sanele Siwe Charlie, starting front ranker for the Springbok women. I mean, they are absolutely stacked.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see what Swayze de Brain and assistant coach Franzel September will come up with here. So much talent. Some really difficult decisions to be made as well on who the starting 15 will be. I guess they'll try to rotate it, and that's a luxury too.
And the Bulls Daisies making great use of the weapons that they have, making sure that all of their players get some game time in this one-round Women's Premier Division. 7 matches for each side before we get to the knockout phases. Dealing with a bit of an injury is Mgweba for the Boland Damas, so they're one woman down as Seliers applies boot to ball, kicks into the wind, and the counter-attack will begin with Samboya. Sends it long herself. Players galore tracking back for this. It might go bouncing over the try line in the end, and indeed it does. Samboya there to put pressure to make sure it doesn't go over the dead ball line. So it will be a goal line dropout for the Bulls Daisies.
Exciting player, Kamelita Malone, coming onto the pitch here. Oh, and an interesting play there by Andre Dolph. That's kind of excitement. Malone, Dolph.
You guys need to be onside when she kicks it. You guys need to be on the 5. You cannot be in front of the 5. No, you're going to re-kick. I'm explaining to you because nobody was onside. Everybody was still coming, so I'm going to let it go fair. Stay on the 5. You, make sure you're behind her when she kicks it. And that ball must travel over the 5.
We have some brilliant women's referees in this country.
Make sure you're on the 5.
Yep, say less, mate. What a performance here by Angie Bezuidenhout.
Move, captain. Thank you.
So this time, all is well. It's sent clear by Birandre Dolph. Unfortunately for the Bulls Daisies, she's directed into the hands of the most dangerous player on the field, but the turnover from guess who? Solonsi's done it again and cutting the line is Malone. Malone has some space to run into, looking for support, but does she need it? Malone occupies another. She's got two to beat. Malone! She's ripped them into ribbons. Malone sends it to Salir. Salir still has some work to do here. Brought down just short of the line. Can the Damas rescue this situation? Under pressure. What a play. Malone trying to get it back, and now she must release. The defense is desperate from the Damas, and they just about rescue the situation. And Shat sends it long. But what about Malone? And what a kick from Shat. Sent them reeling back to fetch this one. Getting back there is Nonkasana. Nonkasana isolated but confident. Now she has support and she sends it to Malinga. Malinga dangerous in any situation. Malinga cuts back in field. She's beaten 3. Chopped down in the tackle. A crucial tackle indeed. But the Bulls Daisies are on the front foot and Glovu on the charge. They said again, the Boland Damas, the lungs must be burning. They've turned it over. Who can capitalize on this broken defensive line? Solonsi makes the tackle, drives through the point of contact and compromises the Damas clearance. Shat's under pressure.
Touched.
It's been touched. It's going to stay in field. What a phase of play this has been. Taxing stuff for the players on the field, no doubt. Nonkasana.
Yeah, she had to give it there. Huge overlap.
Now Malinga. Brilliant defense. But offsides from the Damas. Breathless rugby from both of these sides.
Yeah, take a breath. Take a breath. It was a great place. Nalo Zikwai to get back for the Sanlam Boland Damas, and what a steal it was from number 17, Kamohela Makoele.
Marcus, yeah? Time's off.
Game starting to open up. Here's Carmelita Malone. This is what she does. 7 specialists, show and go. Sells. Zikwai on her debut season. She's been so good, and the support from her opposite number, that one, Felicia Jacobs, leaves her behind. Steps through here. Great defense. Zikwai.
Right.
And then those are forwards coming in over here. Valentine there to make that tackle. Sanlam Boland Damas, never say die attitude. What an effort. It's encouraging, isn't it? Especially for the coaches. Thomas Charles.
Yes, yes.
Still, Bulls Daisies have got
Stay square.
ball in there and 2 sides to attack from still 12 minutes in this game. Will this be the first time that they're able to go over 50 points against the Sanlam Boland Damas?
It's a space. Keep the space. Bind. Yeah, thank you. All right, listen. No. It's not my job to coach you. You know you have to have space. That's what the law says. Keep it clean. Is that clear?
1, 2, 3, seconds.
Crouch.
1.
Bind. Set. Right. I have both sides going straight down. Yes. Both sides falling straight down. Reset. Yeah. You need to feed the ball in through the tunnel, so it's a fair contest for both hookers. Is that clear? It's again, guys, I need you to work harder. You keep up. Support your own body weight. Stay square. Through the middle.
Angie Bezuidenhout. She's not there to coach them, but she is there to ref them, and she is reffing them well.
Bind. Keep it up. Set. In the middle.
Solid set this time from both sides. The Bulls Daisies bulldozing over their opposition and winning themselves a penalty advantage. Malone takes a look up, sends it to Dolph. Dolph cuts the line, gets it away to Mokone. Mokone dragged down in the tackle eventually of Shatz. Malone sends it open side this time. 7 points away from the 50 mark for the Bulls Daisies. The offload and contact to Dineo and Glovu. The pick and go. Danger signs! And over the line goes Ntako Chauke. A well-deserving try scorer, the number 7, who has been tireless all afternoon long.
Yeah, it's that continuity. It's so difficult to stop turning the screws, keeping it in Route 1 in the trenches. Faith Chauke, you won't stop her that close. Extreme aggression.
Just confirm the time, please.
At scrum as well. Telling substitutes and the fresh legs, just injecting an extra bit of power, exuberance in this Bulls Daisies pack, making it a difficult afternoon for the Sanlam Boland Damas.
Yucky Saliers was never going to struggle with that. What a talented player she is. As you see the Boland men's getting warmed up in the background. Such a proud rugby region this, at provincial level, but also and almost especially at club level, where the game is at its absolute pinnacle. You'll see the stadium packed out for some of their derbies.
Yep, Roses United, one of the sides around here. Incredible club rugby culture they have here. It's awesome watching those games. Really, the communities come out in number, just as they've come out here to Boland Stadium to support the Sanlam Boland Damas, who have not let them down, regardless of the scoreboard.
Laura Schatz gets us back underway after that try, which really put the final nail in the coffin, although there were already 21 points between the sides. It's been an impressive comeback in the second half from the Boland Damas, showing that they refuse to go away easily. As the number 2 team on the log in the Women's Premier Division, they're letting the Bulls Daisies know that it's not going to be a cakewalk to the final and to the next trophy, which would be their 3rd in a row. Here's Dolph. She's got numbers galore. That was a flat ball. Dolph can't get it away under the attentions of Nomawetu.
Release. Thank you.
Working it to the outside.
Good now. Thank you. Sealing first. Leave. Sealing first.
The Bulls Daisies controlling possession here in the final minute of the match, but the Boland Damas not giving up on their efforts. Under pressure, that one goes flying up as Schatz puts in the hit. Phase after phase for the Bulls Daisies. Looking to put another try on the board, and Poopa takes it to the line effectively. Can't get her hands free for the pass to Chauke. Here comes Dolph. Straight through. Great hand as well from Klingolo, moving the Bulls Daisies upfield as they set another ruck, but this one slips through the fingers. The Boland Damas can't get hands on the ball, and it looks like Lumko done herself a mischief in the process. Here's Saliers looking to grab her it through. It's been turned over. Makoele gets her hands on the ball, trying to fight her way through. And the Boland Damas turn to the boot to send it upfield. The Bulls Daisies have seen enough. Knocking the ball into touches, Zintle Nonkasana. And it is a tremendous win for the Bulls Daisies as the final whistle blows. They have dominated yet again, and they are victorious by 50 points to 22 over the Sanlam Boland Damas. Fudge, we've witnessed a brilliant match of rugby here today in Wellington. Who really shone for you from either one of these sides? Because these are 1 and 2 in the league, and they may just meet again in the final.
Yeah, I can't wait for that as well. Paul Stubbs, what a game. For me, you know, it's just the fight we saw from the Sanlam Boland Damas trying to make Boland Stadium a fortress. I think they did. A lot of positives to take from this game. Bulls Daisies at their very best here this afternoon. Highly accurate, surgical in the way they played. A couple of tries not going the way of the Boland Damas. They got really close, but a lot of positives. Incredible defensive efforts from some of the players on the pitch. Schatz went through so many tackles, and Asezaele clearly putting up her hand to being one of the best women rugby players in the country, coming from the Harlequins, sharing that intellectual property. Look at the loop around from Kibilika, her playing her there. Most meters made in the game. The captain for the Boland Damas. Most defenders beaten, most tackles made. What a performance, even though they didn't get the W here. But the Bulls Daisies, Hayden Groepies and his troops, he can be really proud of them. They kept to their guns even though they were in the lead. I think the respect and the professionalism in this game was just stunning. We saw the usual suspects doing their usual things. Zintle Mpupa, who had the captain's armband here today. Behandre Dolph, probably an unsung hero, the way she kept feeding the backline and the forwards, giving them that go forward, you know. And what a battle between the two packs as well. I mean, if Swayze de Brain is watching this, I'm sure he was. Mr. September, the assistant coach who will be interviewing shortly. There's just, yeah, this is a celebration of where women's rugby is, and the rest of the world better be taking notes because this is a big statement as well in the SA Rugby Women's Premier Division. Can't wait to see that semi and final.
Well, the rest of the world will be on notice and the rest of the world will be confronted come August because this is a World Cup year in women's rugby. And how about this? What a run this was from the replacement halfback Malone, wrapping up her opposite number and almost making it through there. If she'd pinned her ears back, who knows what may have happened. Beating the second last defender, and this offload to Cilliers just behind her, forcing her to turn around, which took away the opportunity for the try. But what a cover defense it was from Michaela Samboya, who shut that opportunity down. And that back three of the Boland Damas, including Nomowetu Mabenge in the number 14 jersey. So impressive for the Boland Damas today when they got their chance. But how good was Ntsako Chauke in the number 7 jersey, especially so in the first half when she did some of her best work, when the Bulls were playing with ball in hand, and she was absolutely everywhere on defense and attack, as the Boland Damas were looking to play it very quickly as often as they possibly could, which led to some opportunities for them, but more opportunities, one might say, for the Bulls Daisies, who capitalized on that and made the gap too big for the Boland Damas to make up on the second half's play. Here are the results from today's fixtures. Western Province getting that win over the previously undefeated Border Ladies, so putting themselves back in the hunt for those top 2 finishing positions, as of course another one of the unbeaten sides have gone down here today in the Sanlam Boland Damas, second position to start this weekend out. The Bulls Daisies taking care of business, making it 3 wins from 3 matches thus far and putting up another 50 points as well, but this time they conceded 22 points, while in their previous 2 matches they conceded only 5, while they scored 159 points of their own. So the Boland Damas showing that the gap between them and the Bulls Daisies not as significant as perhaps between others. An absolutely enthralling season awaits in the Women's Premier Division, and the Bulls Daisies will look to continue that dominance as they play at home against the Sharks women. It's almost a race for second place. In fact, it is, and it will be a fascinating one as Western Province will be looking to go away and get a victory over the Golden Lions women, who have struggled to get going thus far in this year's competition. The Border Ladies will take on the Boland Damas. That should be an entertaining one between 2 very evenly matched sides, and EP Queens and Free State Women. That is going to be a massive opportunity to get a win on the board in the next round of matches. In just a moment's time, we'll be going down for some interviews with none other than my co-commentator today, Mthunzi Fudge Mabeta. A lot of smiling faces here at the Boland Stadium who have come here to watch the live rugby, to support their local rugby in spite of the enthralling URC fixture going on just down the road in the city of Cape Town, the North-South derby between the Bulls and the Stormers, featuring a player school just up the road here at Boland Landbou, Kane and Moody, who has been in fine fettle for the Vodacom Bulls of late. The Bulls Daisies celebrating on the field, something they've become very familiar with. Klingolo raised up on the shoulders of her teammates. And don't they just deserve to celebrate? They have put together a brilliant team, but they are playing brilliant rugby, not just resting on the laurels of the talent that they have. We're ready now to head down to Mthunzi Fudge Mabeta. We've got a chance to have some interviews with some of the important figures here in the Boland region. Just getting the microphone ready for Fudge.
Please tell us Cesar to come as well, not just to wait here. So we'll do play of the match.
And here he is.
So we've just witnessed an incredible game. I'm here with Springbok Women's assistant coach Franzel September and lead analyst Jonaka Mbedzi. What a performance. What did you think of that game?
Yeah, Bulls had a massive start, I think, and Boland came back well. So it was a decent game. It's one we really hope that it will deliver. I think we got a performance from the Mets, from a national point of view. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, so speaking about a national point of view, I know Swayster Brain was here as well, but he left a little bit earlier. He missed out on a huge game, especially that second half. Was there anything that stood out for you? I mean, some of the players that you already know, most of the players from your camp would have been in both of these sides. As a lead analyst, as the assistant coach, what kind of data were you looking for?
I think for us it's just behaviors and habits. I think the moment Boland speed up the match a bit, they got to the Bulls, so that was something good. That was something that really surprised me in a way as well. So yeah.
No, that's awesome. And just to ask you, Mrs. Mbedzi, the lead analyst, what are some of the pieces of data you were picking up on? What's the big success and what they're looking for in the Springbok women's setup? It is Rugby World Cup 2027 in rugby for the women.
Yeah, I think something that we're seeing in the international teams is that their pace is much faster, and something that we were looking at is to see whether our ruck speeds are getting faster or whether they're getting slower. But I must say, in this year's IPL, we're already seeing much bigger difference than we were seeing last year. So that's something that we can commend for both the teams. I think they both showed up, and I think it was an unexpected turn of events. We did expect the Bulls to win, but still, the competition was still fierce.
Fierce indeed. And, you know, for a second there, I thought the Sanlam Boland Damas were going to make a comeback. I mean, you come from a family that's been serving rugby in South Africa for so long. You know, your father, your uncles. What does it take to develop the women's game, especially in regions like this where the culture is just so deep?
I think, first of all, just to show support, first of all, to be here, to be present, to see how they do. Tell them that you're doing great. I think that's the message step for me. If someone supports you, you will do well here.
Jonaka Mbedzi, thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Franzel September, all the best in your preparation for the Rugby World Cup 2027, the Women's Rugby World Cup that is 2027 in London. 2025. I keep saying 2027. Women's Rugby World Cup in London 2025. Good luck for your preparations. I think this was a huge celebration of women's rugby in South Africa. What a fixture it was. For you, any players that really stood out? Quick one.
We can't mention any names now. Both teams. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think I agree with Coach. We can't mention, but we're keeping an eye out for upcoming players and the ones we already have.
Thank you so much. All the best. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Jason?
Well, the action's not over. We have Sizopila Solonzi ready to have a chat with Mtunzi. What a player she is. Should be featuring for the green and gold this year.
So with the SA Rugby Women's Premier Division Player of the Match, a loose head prop. Yonela Ngingolo, ungumXhosa. You love the game. It's a big part of Xhosa culture. But what a fixture this was. Really challenged. You played a full 80 minutes. How about that?
Well, for that one, it was a good game from both sides, and I do believe they came gun blazing also. So yeah, we had to pull up for the team, and we stand one. So yeah, I think one of the things that made the team to prosper for the game is to play as a team, back each other's mistakes, and go forward.
You're looking for the three-peat, 3 times winners of the competition. What does it take to keep motivating yourself? Because that performance, one of the best women's rugby games I've ever seen. I don't know how it felt for you being on the pitch. The fitness levels were really up there as well.
I think we always practice to fix the small mistakes when we go back to the drawing board. That's what we become a better team in each game that's coming. I think, yeah, one of the things that put us through is to work hard behind the scenes and fix the mistakes that we can make to become better.
So basically I'm hearing you, it's just a professional setup that allows you to really extend and to challenge yourself week in and week out.
Definitely. I think that's one of the reasons why we have to pull up, because as a professional team, we have to always push harder and work extra.
And a lot of you have achieved so much, but you're still able to push yourself. Libby Janssen van Rensburg back in the team, players changing positions. How's the culture? How's that family vibe?
I think because we've been playing together for quite some time now, I think we understand each other more and we know our weaknesses and strengths. So in that setup, we try to rotate more as much as we can so that we can get, game time each and every player.
Thank you so much, Yolena Ngingolo. She needs to share her fitness program with all the other props in World Rugby. Fantastic performance. Thank you so much and all the best for the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
What a match it was from Yonela Klingolo and not Sizopile Solonsi there. They have stars galore in this Bulls Daisies lineup, and they were shining today in Wellington here in the Boland region. It has been another fascinating match in the Women's Premier Division as all of these sides look to make up the distance between them and the reigning defending champions, the Bulls Daisies, looking to make it 3 in a row. Let's see how the rest of the season unfolds. 4 more matches per side before we can decide who is making it into those crucial knockout stages and where they will be playing their knockout matches as well, of course. Will the Bulls make it to yet another final? Can they lift yet another trophy? Stay tuned to all of the action and enjoy as the Boland men warm up. We wrap up here in the Women's Premier Division. We will be back again next week with more matches for you, hopefully a televised one and a streaming one as well, as we continue to give air and significance to the women's rugby in this country, especially in this Rugby World Cup year. It's going down in England in August. Don't miss a second of the action between then and now. And of course, the Springbok women touring Europe from around April as they gear up for that oh-so-crucial competition and continue the rise of women's rugby in the Republic of South Africa. For now, it's farewell from Wellington. Enjoy your rugby afternoon and, of course, the North-South Derby, which is happening in Cape Town right now. And we will